Our first speaker tonight is Rachel Smelzer.
Good evening, Board of Education members and Superintendent Lansfeld. My name is Rachel Smelzer, and I teach at Oakland Middle School. I am here with my colleagues to share some highlights of our first few weeks back at Oakland Middle School. I want to be clear, our staff loves being back in the building with our students every day. Oakland is alive and buzzing with all the sights and smells of middle school. Our year kicked off with an exciting web orientation, Where Everyone Belongs, in which 8th grade leaders energetically welcomed 6th graders back to school, giving tours of the building, supporting them in opening their lockers, and gently and patiently helping calm their nerves. Recently, our 6th graders got to participate in a book tasting in which the 6th grade English language arts teachers, decked out in their chef hats and aprons, laid out tablecloths and electric tea lights, and set out books for students to taste and see if they were interested in reading them. A truly innovative way to increase student engagement. Student leaders with special needs are preparing for life beyond the classroom and are organizing and running a daily coffee cart. Our 8th graders are showing our younger students the Oakland way, making thoughtful choices and modeling what being a positive and contributing member of our community looks like. We have seen that students are so excited to be back at school, that they are working hard and they have a real thirst for knowledge. Students are advocating for their learning needs, are asking great questions, and are making us laugh every day. We are excited to be able to offer a broad range of co-curriculars again, including chamber choir, jazz band, chamber orchestra, the Wrinkle in Time theatrical production, sports, and after-school clubs. Going through challenging times with COVID has shown all of us the gift of being together to work, learn, grow, and play. We have learned the importance of innovation as a counter to COVID's countless disruptions. We love our students and families, our school, and our community, which is why we must pass both the upcoming renewal and technology levies. If we fail to do so, our district as we know it will be left unrecognizable. Countless student opportunities will be lost. Class sizes will increase to unmanageable levels, and over 100 of our 575 teachers across the district will lose their jobs. As a community, Pony Pride involves shared opportunities and shared responsibilities. Please show your Pony Pride by voting yes on the levy. Our kids deserve your support. Thank you.
Eric Anderson.
Board Chair Petrie, members of the board, my name is Eric Anderson, Oak Park Heights. I recently had the privilege of walking alongside Brookview Principal Chris Rogers, his staff, and his students during the first 2 days of school on September 7th and September 8th. This powerful experience served as an important reminder of why I became a public educator. And I wanted to share with you the top 10 things I observed. Walking into the building, I encountered a rainbow mosaic of inspiring and encouraging chalk messages from Brookview PTA covering the sidewalks. Staff gathering prior to the start of the day for their first staff meeting, bringing their We Are Brookview heart sets, mindsets, and skill sets. Parents dropping off their most precious resources, their children, with a high degree of confidence. The exquisite care and detail given to setting up each classroom, creating safe, highly engaging, and rigorous learning spaces for all Brookview scholars. The kindness, care, and limitless patience the preschool staff showed as Brookview's youngest learners found their lockers, put backpacks away, and brought their knacks into their new classrooms. Watching Deborah and Tracy, two truly gifted administrative assistants, juggle dozens of tasks and questions simultaneously without missing a beat. Brookview staff gracefully tackling the complexity of the first day of parent pickup to ensure that all Brookview students made it home safely. The care with which staff identified and connected with those first day students appearing to have that deer in headlights look. And finally, watching Dr. Rogers, Brookview's principal, employ his by any means necessary approach to seeing all, serving all, and supporting all of his Brookview students, families, and staff. Thank you, Dr. Rogers, Brookview staff, students, families, and the entire Brookview community for the very important reminder that when we approach our current challenges with a solution focus and keep the main thing, our students, the main thing, that the possibilities are truly limitless. Thank you.
Jessica Johnson.
Jessica Johnson, Oak Street, Stillwater. Our family moved here in 2013, and one of the reasons we chose Stillwater was the above-average school ratings. With 4 children, I've had an extensive experience with the schools of Lily Lake, Stillwater Middle and High School. As a busy working mother, I felt comfortable in trusting the district with educating my children. We do our due diligence in at home, reading to our children every evening, following up on homework, reading the ridiculous amount of school communications, and attending school conferences. I've had my fair share of frustrations over the years. The most abhorrent of them all, however, is the lack of accountability taught to the students. I can't even count the number of times I've experienced homework due dates extended, quizzes and tests allowed to be retaken when a student does poorly, rules such as no phones not being upheld or being upheld in some classes and not others. I suppose with this knowledge, I should not have been surprised to see that the board itself is not accountable to their very own rules, which leads me to believe the problems we are having with student achievement are a direct reflection of the poor leadership, and it starts here. You talk about leadership, but you don't hold yourselves accountable to the board rules. I can't be certain that the administration and teachers are held accountable to the rules put in place in regards to curriculum either. If a child doesn't have to do their homework, how do you expect them to do well on tests? If you know in advance that they will be allowed to retake an exam, what pushes them to prepare? They're children. They'll avoid discomfort when able. If a child is allowed to be distracted by their phone or is constantly being pushed onto a Chromebook, how can you expect their focus to be on learning? If a parent tells their child that they must complete their work on the original due date and the teachers are constantly conflicting, how can the child be held accountable when there's no unified front or clarity? These problems existed long before COVID, which the union-selected board members and administrative staff have repeatedly used to manipulate the data to excuse the poor testing outcomes. Community members that aren't paying attention don't see that the scores have been on a steady decline since they granted the district millions in the last levy. I would argue that this administration is lying by omitting those very important stats. Another example of inconsistencies of the union-selected board and admin is that they argue the CDC guidelines for COVID with their tyrannical mask mandates for babies through middle schoolers, but conveniently never mention or address their disregard for the CDC's 1 to 2 hour max per day screen time recommendation. I'm guessing I'm gonna run out of time here, so I'm gonna skip down here to the bottom since my last week has been taken up. We need to set clear guidelines, goals, and implement a plan to get there. Lead by example. You talk about collaborating, but are always quick to support any union-selected board member and ostracize Tina and any constituent who speaks out against union-backed policies and objections and questions your stance. That is why today I'm stepping up as a leader and offering my name to be written in as a school board candidate this November 2nd against the unopposed Pete Kelsenberg.
Heidi Adams.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Adams. I live in West Lakeland. I'm a parent of 2 children in the Stillwater schools. I'm a resident of the Stillwater School District. The Union 5 have just recently allowed the board chair, Bev Petrie, to unilaterally assign new arbitrary rules to the open forum procedure. This comes on the heels of community members speaking at the open forum to critique the district decision-making and promising to vote no on the upcoming levy. It is now up to the district to let us know who has made the list and who has not, removing all transparency. Recent union meetings encouraged teacher union members to sign up for the open forum spots in support of the tax increase levy in order to prevent community members from speaking up and to create a perception of wide community support. An all call has been put out for the retired union members to make an appearance as well. You'll likely see some snazzy advertising and high-quality marketing videos put together by the Valley Parent and Community Network trying to compel you to vote yes to the levy. It's for the kids, they'll say. More money equals better education, they'll say. That Parent and Community Network is largely funded by, guess who? The Teachers Union. They've contributed nearly $7,000, which is what we know of at this point. Knowing all that we know, does one really think this time it will go to the kids? The administration and the Union 5 have already repeatedly said this levy increase is just to maintain the status quo. While focusing on manipulating taxpayers is apparently a top priority for the union, the 2021 third grade reading proficiency rate is now at an all-time low of 51%. Experts tell us that a child's third grade reading level is a strong indicator of their success as an educated adult. It's why the state of Minnesota tracks and created legislation around this very specific benchmark. Raise your hand if you find the status quo unacceptable. So when is it enough money? What if they asked for $25 million a year? How about $50 million a year? Do we, the taxpayers, keep writing blank checks with no accountability? No, thank you. The district needs a wake-up call. We are not happy. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents got an amazing education in a one-room schoolhouse with very little funding. It is possible. As a society, we have increased education funding time after time, and the results are worse and worse. I'm voting a hard no for the kids. We've given it time, we've shown up, we've written, we've volunteered, we've been patient, we've been impatient, we've been loud, we've been quiet. We've campaigned, we voted yes, we've done it all. The kids are still not being served nor educated properly. One can estimate around $900 million in 834 alone over the last 8 years hasn't resulted in the most basic skill, literacy. You give all this a pass? I don't. Thank you.
Brian Lee.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Brian Lee, a Lake Elmo parent. I guess I wanted to go through 3 things. I don't have a fiery speech intended for you. I just wanted to say a couple of things. Number 1, thank you all for serving in such a tumultuous time and how difficult this and divided this community is right now. I know it's not easy, so thank you for doing it. Number 2, electronic sign-up has been beneficial to somebody like me. I would not have the time to come to every one of these meetings due to the nature of the work that I do. Being able to sign up in advance allowed me to plan for this and be able to make sure that I was able to attend and get to address you all, so thank you for that. And finally, I would vote yes on both questions for the levy. I think losing teachers right now is just a fool's errand. It doesn't make any sense to us. And then secondly, I wanted to talk about the technology levy in particular. So I'm a network engineer, been doing this for about 25 years. have a background and a pulse on what's going on in the cyber criminal world as well, and they're targeting school districts. The thing that they love most is outdated software, outdated hardware. It makes an easy opportunity. So I understand we're one of the only districts in the area without a technology levy, and that seems a little bit silly in the year 2021, sorry. So I would highly encourage you to do the basic thing. The schools districts are being targeted by ransomware attacks. Doing these things will help. It's like locking your front door, purchasing new equipment, new software, new hardware. If you leave the house and you lock your front door, the first opportunity a criminal has is gonna come turn your doorknob. If that doesn't open, he's not gonna be able to get into your house, and he might move on to the next opportunity. Having outdated equipment, outdated licensing provides ample opportunity for these people to come in the back door and expose our family's information, expose us to financial liabilities. So anyways, I'll sum it up by saying yes, I vote yes. Thanks.
Jenny Hanlon.
Hello, thank you for letting me be here. I'm here to highlight the programs at the Early Childhood Family Center and the preschools within the elementary buildings. I'm excited to share with you some of the wonderful things that have been happening within our program. Thank you for your continued support and for allowing me to share with you tonight. Some people may not know that early childhood from birth to age 5 is a big part of the work our school district does. Early childhood works with children from the very youngest ages when families have just brought their babies home all the way until they go off to kindergarten. During the COVID-19 pandemic, early childhood has found many new and creative ways to adjust to difficult circumstances. Staff have done countless online Zoom sessions, offered online classes to parents, and moderated Facebook groups. Special education staff put on snow pants in the winter and sunscreen on hot days to meet little ones for sessions outdoors in every kind of weather. We provided outdoor classes for families last year when many families weren't ready to meet indoors yet. Due to the wonderful response from families, we have continued to provide a variety of outdoor learning opportunities. This will actually be highlighted as a model in a new booklet being published by the Minnesota Department of Ed on early childhood outdoor learning, as well as in a webinar MDE is offering on outdoor learning next week. Many families and children are able to be back in the Early Childhood Family Center, coming to classes and therapy sessions again. You can see the smiles on the faces of the kids and the grown-ups who are so happy to be back with their teachers, playing with their friends in our beautiful building and on our wonderful playground. Families and parents have told us how important it is for them to meet other parents, to have their children meet new friends, and develop new skills. In our Birth to 3 program, we see children in their natural learning environments. We go to people's homes, child care centers, home child cares, parks, really anywhere where children are with their families. It is always wonderful to be with families and hear from them firsthand how much they appreciate the support. Being the parent of a child with delays or special needs can be challenging, and through our program, families have access to teachers, occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists, and parent and family educators. Many parents have said, especially this last year, how grateful they are for the help and how excited they are when they see their little ones growing, learning, and making progress. We are often the first connection that parents have with teachers from the Stillwater schools in our district. We are here to prepare children and families for the future, as well as helping families adjust to our new world. It is a privilege and to be able to introduce parents to the wonderful things our district has to offer. We are so fortunate in this district to have a truly amazing space and amazing educators to serve our families and little ones in early childhood. I forgot to say I'm Jenny Hanlon, Stillwater, Minnesota. Thank you.
Sandy Hayner. Sandy Hayner.
Hello, friends. Sandy Hayner, Stillwater, Minnesota. So in June, this board majority pursued 2 non-voter approved levies. One of them was $825,000 for QComp. QComp stands for Quality Compensation and was enacted in 2005 as a volunteer program allowing local districts and representatives of teachers to design and collectively bargain a plan that meets 4 very specific elements of QComp law. Number 1, career and ladder advancement opportunities. 2, job-embedded professional development. 3, teacher evaluation. 4, performance pay and alternative salary schedule. Stillwater receives $1.4 million from the state in QComp basic aid. This non-voter approved levy would be extra. At that meeting, board member Weisberg said she was concerned the boards don't know what these dollars would be going towards. She was supportive of the performance pay as increase for a job well done. Board member Riley expressed frustration at being blocked from QComp meetings and didn't feel right taxing citizens without consent, especially in something that none of us have any say in. Board members Sherman and Hockert said professional development provided by QComp was critical for literacy and academic achievement. It's necessary to elevate achievement in our schools, and they praised professional development, often called PD, as necessary for new curriculum training and best practices. QComp PD would push for high-achieving students and staff, you said. Board Chair Petrie is so excited about the opportunities teachers get through PD. She said teachers need training to become the best kind of person in front of a classroom, and that PD has a greater impact on any other thing that happens in our classrooms. She urged support. Deb Van Cly, QComp lead, and Josiah Hill, union president, recently put together a presentation for some teachers and administration to explain a very exciting opportunity they could dive into with these new expected QComp dollars, and that is social justice. So there was this slide. I forgot the real printout, but I'll leave it there, was used in the presentation. It's called Comprehensive Unionism. These 3 circles are labeled: industrial, pertaining to the bargaining, right, and job security, then professional, commonly where you'd categorize the professional development, and then there's this 3rd circle, social justice, down here. The presenters explained that they want to expand beyond food shelves and volunteering in the community, and they want to follow the lead of national teachers unions to lean into more state and national social justice efforts. They're working on more teacher buy-in, so heads up. So what did the national teachers unions place as a high priority? This summer, they convened to vote on these initiatives: targeting CRT opposition, fighting period poverty, supporting Palestine, opposing immigration laws, incorporate CRT and BLM by name, those organizations into K-12 classrooms, dismantling police unions, simultaneously helping create a union for Amazon workers, and on and on. Curiously missing from the agenda even one single thing pertaining to academic achievement. Is it right to use non-voter approved levy dollars to promote what the local or national unions view as social justice, especially when we're told these dollars were supposed to be benefiting academics for our students? When will students ever become the #1 priority in this district again? This board either lied to us or you were deceived yourselves, and either way, I don't trust you, and I'll be voting no till you change the way you do business. And my final thought, your 10th speaker won't be here tonight because you failed her again. You changed all kinds of rules and policies on the fly when you didn't like a vote no message, but no word on how you intend to deal with the violent man who committed a 5th-degree assault on 2 people in this meeting. You did not offer any security for anyone in this room.
Your time is up.
But you changed policies about open
Time
forum.
is up.
Priorities, clearly on display.
Dee Dee Armstrong. Dee Dee Armstrong. Sorry. I thought it was loud, sorry.
You gotta deal with teenagers to know loud. Dee Dee Armstrong, Afton. I have about 10,000 reasons why I will be voting no to your levy. Number 1, you literally take taxpayer money without voter approval through lease levies. Number 2, the last time voters gave the district money, the district spent more than double what the voters approved on a bus garage when the school district doesn't even own buses or employ drivers. Number 3, the current board and administration only respects certain portions of the public. Number 4, 70% of the homes in this district do not have children that attend these district schools. They're empty nesters, they're choosing other schools, they're on fixed incomes. It's not very equitable to ask 70% to support the 30%. Number 5, I don't trust this board or administration at all. Number 6, in 2011, before the last levy, there were 8 director positions in administration. By the time of the bond, which was in 2015, there were 11 directors and pay raises to amount to $700,000 for administration. Priorities. Number 7, community respect. Say what you will about Superintendent Pontrelli, but she didn't show disdain for the public. Whatever your thoughts are on Mike Potacek, Jennifer Pelletier, or Tom Lehman, they didn't try to silence or disrespect the public who were trying to speak. If they had differing opinions, that's no longer the case. Trust has been broken. Number 8, speaking of pay, I'm a no vote because of spending. This board and administration and teachers union have shown no ability to put the community's scarce resources ahead of pocketbooks of union members, administrators, or construction firms. Number 9, and that brings up the teachers union. This board majority was financially backed and endorsed by the teachers union. Yet, when union members and union-backed boards speak, they speak about how happy students are and how happy we are to be back in buildings and happy love, love, love. But nobody's jumping up and down about the literacy rates that we have here. This is a problem. Year after year after year, the literacy rates in this district have fallen. They say that this levy is for the kids, but I don't understand how it can be. How are teachers union members not jumping up and down about literacy? It could not possibly be that it's about money now and retirement funds, could it? No. Because the biggest predictor of people who end up in jail is literacy rate. So a low literacy rate leads to higher incarceration rates. And the Minnesota Teachers Union Pension Fund invests in private prisons. So maybe it's by design that this union-backed board and teachers union and administration find low literacy rates acceptable because it helps to pay for retirement.
Dawn Beavers.
Dawn Beavers, Baytown Township, Minnesota, but only for 9 more months. Thank goodness. We have chosen to sell our house in this district that we custom built in order to leave this district because we are tired of paying for a private school for a child that was not served by this school district. I will be voting no on your levy and on your technology levy. And I'm giving permission to every person in this district to do the same. You can vote no if you simply don't want higher taxes. Our taxes are ridiculous. And if you pull up your tax rate, they are mainly schools. Those are failing schools because we've accepted lower standards. So you can vote no if you don't accept the low standards of this district. It is okay for you to vote no if you want this board and this administration to increase literacy, not continue decreasing it. It is okay to vote no if you think this board and this administration has not been responsible with their spending. It's okay that just now we have approval to park buses that we don't own in a bus garage that's several years old. It is okay to vote no if you are upset because this board decided after community input to mask pre-K through 8th grade in our schools. It is okay to vote no if you are upset that the teachers union in this district has hired their bosses and then that money gave them the pay raises that they couldn't get any other way. And additionally, they have also asked for their teachers to show up and take your spot as community members in speaking to this board. They are also funding this levy. You can also vote no if you are upset that this board continues to limit community free speech. In the last meeting, the board chair tried to have people removed from this building for sitting quietly and holding signs, but refused to remove a man who physically pushed someone, and that's because those people are the ones that supported them through their campaign, handing out signs for them and are doing the same for this levy. Ask yourself, what are the priorities of this district? And finally, it is okay to vote no if your child is not served by this district. Every private school and every charter school in this district will get 0 funds. So if your child does not go to a Stillwater public school, it is okay to vote no. I certainly will be.
Megan Greeter.
Megan Greeter, Hugo, Minnesota. I just thought I'd spend my time up here giving a brief history for those who are unfamiliar with the district's history. It also might be helpful to those who say they just can't figure out why anyone would vote no on a levy. In 2013, voters approved a $12 million levy. This meant we were taxed $12 million for 8 years. That levy is expiring soon. That levy campaign promised a bridge to excellence, foreign language in all schools, and school security. At the time, the third grade reading proficiency was 74%. That means 74% of third graders could get at least a 50% on the standardized reading test. Not long after the levy approval, the district cut paras and special needs nurses, claiming the levy wasn't enough. Curiously, in the following years, administrative spending and consulting costs soared. In 2015, the district asked for a $97 million bond to improve all schools, build the PAC and a new elementary school in Woodbury. The community approved that one too. Soon after that approval, the district switched gears and decided to close 3 elementary schools in order to save $1.2 million. The administration intends to take over one of those schools, this one, Oak Park, for themselves after spending $7 million in renovations, of course. By this point, third grade reading proficiency had dropped to 66%. Irate with the tax increase, bait and switch, citizens took the district to court where the district successfully argued that the law allows them right to make campaign promises which they have no obligation to fulfill. This law has not been changed, and to date, no sitting member of the administration has publicly denounced the bond betrayal, and that's concerning. In 2018, the district spent $7 million on a bus garage that is now tied up in a lawsuit. We spent more than a year paying $40,000 a month to rent an alternate bus storage location for buses we don't even own. In 2019, 834 sold Marine Elementary for $890,000 for the entire school. Now they plan to spend $7 million to add 8 classrooms to a brand new school. By now, the third grade reading rate had fallen to a shocking 58%. In 2020, the teachers union injected thousands of dollars into the school board race. They wanted their interests to be elevated at the board table above those of the community, the ones who fund this entire enterprise. They were successful, and now we have the Union 4 up here. One of the first orders of business for the union's hand-picked school board was to give the union a raise that was 3 times that which was affordable. Since the passage of the 2013 levy, staff spending has increased by nearly 28%. Here we are now with a third grade reading rate of a devastating 51%, an academic decline of 23%. So much for that bridge to excellence. This district went on a spending spree after the last levy and left the kids behind. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I don't think so.
Lisa Williams.
I'm here to talk about masks, can you tell? I saw the Lisa Williams, Lakeland, Minnesota. I just want to read to what the governor is requesting, and I'm sure you've heard since you've been meeting with the Minnesota Department of Education. This isn't new. But I have real concerns of how these recommendations are going to continue to harm our children, because it's abusive to ask them to wear masks all day. And I am going to state something. Based on the policy in this district, non-vaccinated people need to be wearing masks. And I find it quite interesting that the majority of you who work for the district wear masks. The governor is looking to have kids kept safely for learning, but he is including isolation and quarantines again, participation in testing, masking, as well as other mitigation strategies. You've heard me speak, and I was criticized speaking to adolescent suicide in this room because it referred to my granddaughter's friend, not someone in this district. But I'm going to hit home again that you're harming our children with these masks. I will be here out in front of these buildings if you go along with this governor and allow testing in our buildings. These buildings are for education. You all sit here and talk about how you want your students to be safe. Everything's about safety. You're scaring them. You're hurting the little ones. Don't do it. Don't do any more than what you're already doing. I read the newsletter. I'm going to switch because I have a few items tonight about the literacy. And I think it was very disingenuous that this administration that has been running grade schools for a long time, who clearly is part of the problem with the literacy, and is now in charge of our district and can't promise a better literacy rate without more money. It's always about money, and it's sad. I have teachers in my family. I talk to them. I know these kids aren't up to date. My brother has a 5th grade class. He told his principal he thought he should be teaching 3rd grade right now. No, they'll catch up. Don't worry. Don't worry. They're not going to catch up. And we're not doing anything to make a difference other than begging for money. And before I
Your
walk
time is
away,
up. Your time
I-
is up.
I don't know
Your
this
time
new
is
board
up.
member, and I don't know the person who
Your time
interviewed.
is up.
Your comments were unacceptable, and I hope she gets herself an attorney, but you should probably step down.
Your time is up. Kate Niemann. Kate Niemann. Oh, okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, Directors, Superintendent Lansfeld, my name is Kate Niemann. I reside in Stillwater Township. I have a son who is a graduate of Stillwater High School, and thank you for the opportunity to let me speak tonight. When my son was a 7th grader, he joined the pony swim team. The character development, the discipline, the competitive drive he learned while on this team will influence his identity for the rest of his life. As a team, the boys historically placed 4th or 5th at state, a status predestined, largely because of the size of our program. His junior year, my son competed in 3 state events, 2 individual events and a relay. Being the mom who wanted to have the right words to say when he returned home the night after finals, just in case the results were disappointing, I asked him, of the possible outcomes tonight, what is the one thing that is most important to you? His response, I want the team to break 3rd. The power in that response for a kid whose everything was about swimming. He put the win of the team before his own. This is what Stillwater athletics do for kids. This is something MCA scores don't measure. His final year, one of the other senior boys was new to the team, a young man who was blind. The challenges were obvious, and the coach knew the student had very limited opportunity to experience being on a team. He also knew it was a golden opportunity for the rest of the boys to practice inclusivity. Again, MCA scores don't measure this. After finishing his senior season, we were in a restaurant when I got the question, Mom, can I try a beer? I could only thinly disguise my surprise that this might actually be his first. Oh, he said, Coach would never tolerate drinking. Abstinence is something else the MCA scores won't measure. Attending Stillwater was not a perfect journey, not by any measure. But beyond any doubt, what was gained by being on the boys' swim team is unique to this district. And I hope it is an opportunity that is never taken away. Please do everything in your power to keep athletic programs available to students. Thank you.
Jason Peterson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Peterson. I live in Woodbury. First, I want to take the opportunity, or second, to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to express my gratitude for improving the sign-up process because as a working parent, I find it challenging to budget time to attend meetings. And even tonight, I had an emergency at work that I found at times I was not going to be able to make it. So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the sign-in process. I hope it continues to evolve and get better over time. So as district parents, I believe it's our job to work with the schools and the school district to support children's futures. Right now, the best way I think we can do that is by voting yes on the renewal of the operational levy and the new technology levies. These levies will provide resources that our district needs to expand educational programs, positively impact student achievement, protect us from cybersecurity attacks, and do so by providing proper and updated technology at the same time. My oldest child, my oldest child currently attends an elementary school in the district, and thanks to the wonderful teachers and staff, she is by all means excelling in every facet of schooling. It is a great sight to see her develop excellent relationships with her friends, watch how excited they are to go to school every day, and it makes me really happy to see her joy in being a pony. Seeing that love of learning along with her friends' enthusiasm also excites me to want to back these levies because I want to do what I can to support her further. I think our community should be eager to provide all the resources that it can to benefit every student in this district and keep their love of learning alive throughout their lifetime. I know I am, and I am excited and proud to vote yes for these levies. Thank you.
Natasha Fleischman. Natasha Fleischman. Okay, well, she was the 15th speaker tonight, so that brings us to the end of our meeting. This meeting is adjourned.